Hi everyone, and welcome once again to Southside Dodge Rebels this week. We have another very busy and exciting show for you, including highlights from a pair of games this past weekend. We go one-on-one with the head coach of your Red Deer Rebels Hockey Club, Jesse Wallen. We take a look at news and notes from around the Western Hockey League, and Jared Waldo's back to go in the corners. Let's start off today's episode by flashing back to this past Friday as the Red Deer Rebels welcome the Medicine Hat Tigers here to the NMAX Centrium. Both of the Rebels' newly acquired players made their debuts in this one. Matt Bellerive joined Tyson Ness and Adam Campites on the top line. Brandon Underwood took his spot on the blue line alongside Hayden Fleury. Devin Fafford with the point shot. It's tipped in front by Mark McCoy. Goalmouth scramble, puck trickling toward the line. The referee waves it off, ending play, setting the stage for a lengthy video review. Rebels fans waited anxiously for the verdict, and it's a goal. Rebels take a 1-0 lead. McCoy gets his first of the year. Charles Inglis forces the turnover down low. Puck comes to Joel Hamilton, who fires. Inglis gets a piece of it to beat Tigers goalie Dawson McCauley for a 2-0 Rebels lead. The high-flying 20-year-old gets his first of the season. And the Rebels don't stop there. Great work by Campites to get it out front to Tyson Ness. His second shot finds the back of the net just 57 seconds after Inglis. And sticking with the theme, that's Tyson's first goal of the year. It's 3-0 Rebels, and the end of the night for McCauley. In comes Mark Langhammer. He gets tested early as Hamilton fires again. The puck bounces toward the goal line. Langhammer gets there just in time. Tigers come looking for some goals of their own. Gavin Broadhead from his off wing is stopped by Patrick Bartosak, who also makes a great save on the rebound try from Dylan Brado. Tabbies do get one before the end of the first period as the always dangerous Hunter Shinkarik charges in. He crashes into the cage. The puck also goes in just before the net came off its moorings. It's a shorthanded goal and a 3-1 Rebels lead through 20. Nice check in the offensive zone by Jesse Miller as he takes Blake Penner out of the play. Tigers on the power play. Kyle Becker with the point pass over to Trevor Cox, who beats Bartosak with a backhand tip, cutting Medicine Hat's deficit to 3-2. That lit a fire under the Tigers as they come in again. Bartosak with not one but two saves, including this spectacular stop on Penner. More Medicine Hat attack in the final frame. Dylan Busanius is denied, so too is Jaden Hart. But a few minutes later, on yet another Tigers power play, Cox finds the loose puck after Boston Layer's shot is blocked. Medicine Hat takes its first lead of the game, 4-3 with just over 11 minutes left. Rebels on a power play of their own this time. Bleakley wins the draw to Hamilton, and check out this great work as he sets up Inglis for his second of the night. 4-4 is the score. The Rebels right back in it, the fans right back in it as well. But that joy would be short-lived as Hart fires a low snapshot past Bartosak for a 5-4 Tigers lead, less than 5 minutes to go. Rebels pull their netminder in the final minute, pushing hard for the equalizer, and they almost get it, but Campites fires wide with the rebound. The Medicine Hat Tigers hand the Rebels their third straight loss to start the year.
We let off the gas. Our details got sloppy, we got passive, we got soft, and we just gave up way too many opportunities, and our penalty kill didn't get the job done. That allowed them to get back into the hockey game, and it's just being lazy at the details.
They got into our end while they came at us with a lot of speed, and it was tough for us to stand up. And then once they set up, they were moving the puck around up top a lot and found lanes to get it to the net, in which they had success with.
Game stats brought to you by 247reddeer.ca. Trevor Cox, the offensive leader for Medicine Hat, with 3 points. Charles Inglis gets his first 2 goals of the year for Red Deer. So after that bitter disappointment here at the NMAX Centrium, the Rebels headed down the QE2 for another game against their Central Division rivals, also their second meeting of the year versus the Calgary Hitmen. The Hitmen were looking for their second win in as many nights after upending the Oil Kings in Edmonton 4-1. Bolton Pouliot getting his first start of the season for the Rebels. He can't clear the puck out of his zone. Jaden Risling slides a pretty backdoor pass to Brady Brassert, camped all alone crease side. He makes no mistake beating Pouliot for his third of the year. The power play goal makes it 1-0. Calgary strikes again before the end of the first period, and it's a beauty goal as Cody Sylvester splits not 2 but 3 Rebels defenders and gets just enough on his deke to slide it across the goal line. An outstanding effort by the Hitmen captain gives them a 2-0 lead through 20. They come looking for more in the second period. Chase Clayton leads the rush in, goes right around Underwood toward the net. Puck loose out front for Zane Jones, who fires, but Underwood recovers to prevent the shot from getting through. Hayden Fleury starts this play by keeping it in at the line. Brooks Maxwell starts the cycle to Tyson Ness. He tries to find Corey Miet out front, but it ends up going to Underwood. His snapshot is tipped past goalie Chris Drieger by Ness. Number 22 scores his second goal in as many nights. Underwood gets his first Rebels point. The deficit is 2-1. Hitmen look to restore their 2-goal lead. Greg Chase looks for Brady Brassett out front, but he's guarded nicely by Chad Robinson. Game remains 2-1. Rebels back on the attack. Colton Mayer tries for the wraparound, but Drieger is there to shut the door. Another glorious scoring chance for the Hitmen as Sylvester is in all alone in the slot. He slides it through Pouliot, but Bolton gets just enough of the puck to kick it wide and keep it a 1-goal game. Sylvester was all over the Rebels in this one. Here he blasts the one-timer from the high slot, but Pouliot gets his glove out in time for a huge save, and deservedly so. He gets a friendly thank you from Matthew Dumba, who, by the way, was back after his 2-game suspension. To the third period now. Colby Harmsworth with the puck in his own zone. He turns it over to Charles Inglis. He fires and beats Drieger short side from a sharp angle for his second in as many games. It's a 2-2 game at that point, setting the stage for overtime. In the extra frame, Dumba fakes the point shot, sidesteps and shoots it on net. The rebound finds its way to Inglis. He beats Drieger for the game winner. The Rebels are winless no more. Inglis celebrates his 4th goal of the weekend and a 3-2 Rebels triumph.
We had a bit of a tough start with the 2 penalty kill goals against, and it was really more of the same in that regard. It was just a couple of mental errors that ended up in the back of our net, but I thought we showed the right attitude in responding and not letting it get us down. We dug ourselves back in, got a big goal in the second period to get back in and make it 2-1, and from there I thought we got better.
Saturday night was a gutty effort. We came from behind there. We were down 2 right away. We had a couple power play, or they scored a couple power play goals there, and we battled back, and fortunately enough I was able to get the overtime winner, and the boys got a good win.
Very big confidence booster, that's for sure, but you can't do it all by yourself. It's a team thing, and if you don't have the guys going in front of you, it's tough to win hockey games. So you try to stop pucks and you battle and work and work and work.
Bolton went in and got an opportunity to play and took advantage of it. He played very well. I thought he was steady all night long. And Charles is finally starting to play the way he's capable. We brought him in here to be an offensive contributor for us, and he's a guy that was very quiet through the preseason, but now with the 20-year-old situation, he seems to have turned it up a notch. He's showing that he wants to be here, and we need that production from him. So he played well, he produced, and that's what's expected. That's what we need from him.
Charles Inglis, one story for the Rebels in this one. So too was Bolton Pouliot, outstanding in his first start of the year, making 39 saves. With the Rebels' overager situation now very much in limbo, Charles Inglis doing his part to make that decision even tougher. 4 goals over the weekend. The offensive leader for this Red Deer Rebels hockey club, showing that Charles is definitely in charge. Charles Inglis and Joel Hamilton each with 4 points in 4 games for the Rebels. Inglis, Chad Robinson, and Devin Fafford each time for the team lead with a +2 rating. Obviously not where the Rebels want to be when it comes to the Central Division standings, but they do finally have their first win. Here is this week's very busy Rebels schedule. They visit the Prince Albert Raiders Tuesday and the Saskatoon Blades Wednesday. Then it's off to Regina, Brandon, and Moose Jaw this weekend. You can catch all the Rebels radio broadcasts on 106.7 The Drive. Rebels getting ready for their first extended time away from the NMAX Centrium this season. In total, counting the Hitman game, it'll be 7 games away from the NMAX Centrium and an early season bonding experience.
I think it's time to get away from the Centrum. It's time to get on the road and get to bond as a team and get to know each other better, especially some of the younger guys. So so it's gonna be a good time.
It's definitely good for the team to come together. You're on the bus for a lot of hours together and spending time with different roommates in the hotel rooms that you may not normally hang out with outside of the rink. There's just a lot team meals together. There's just so many so much togetherness. So it's a good time for the team to bond.
With the building under construction, we wanted to get out and give them some time. We typically try and get a trip in early, and it's a tough trip, but I think that's a good thing at this time of year. It's going to be a measuring stick, and it's going to get the guys together. I think bonding as a team is important, getting guys to really want to play for one another, play for the front of the jersey, and establish that pack mentality and the team effort that we want to see on a nightly basis. And it's there's going to be a chance to see some other teams, see the teams on the eastern side, and see where we fit in that mix.
Well, as we showed you off the top of this show, 2 brand new faces made their Rebels debuts over the weekend. With more on those 2 players, here's Jared Waldo.
Miette, his pass now to Bellerive, comes in, shoots, misses on the short side as Bellerive.
Call it a fresh start for both Matt Bellerive and Brandon Underwood, the 2 newest members of the Red Deer Rebels. The pair were brought in through 2 separate trades last week and both made their Rebel debuts this past weekend. Bellerive came over in a trade with the Vancouver Giants after requesting a move from the team that drafted him in the second round back in 2009. The 18-year-old is happy to be in Red Deer and looking to make an impact with what he brings to the club.
Offense, obviously, I don't know, I'm a pretty gritty guy too, so physical play and hard work.
Head coach Jesse Wallen feels fortunate to be able to have another player with Bellerive's skill level to add to the lineup. Wallen feels that the youngster will compete for a spot in the top 6.
We think Matt's going to be that. It might take him a little bit of time to adjust, but he's a guy that put up numbers as a younger player, was a high pick in the Bantam draft, and we think with a fresh start he's going to be able to produce for us.
While Bellerive will compete for playing time amongst the forwards, Underwood was brought in to bring some stability and experience to the back end. The 6'3", 220-pound defenseman brings a lot of size and strength to the blue line, something the Rebels lacked.
I'm a solid defensive guy. I like to play a little physical, mix it up here and there. I think I can be a good leader in the room and on the back end on the ice. And I'm not too flashy. I keep it simple, but play within my limits, and just a solid guy that can log good minutes and be reliable.
Underwood will spend a lot of time this season mentoring youngsters like Hayden Fleury, who will benefit greatly from the 20-year-old's experience in the Western Hockey League. It sounds like that was the mandate coming from general manager Brent Sutter.
Just be a good leader for there's like a few young D here, and he just wanted a guy that could be stable back there and be reliable, so that's what I'm going to bring, and also be physical and stand up for my teammates and stuff like that.
That's exactly what the coach expects as well. Wallen happy to have that type of defenseman back on the roster, and he has high expectations for Underwood. Wallen says Underwood will have a very understood role.
We see him playing with Hayden Fleury. He's going to be a mentor for him, for the young guys back there, and really just be a calming influence, a guy that can play some minutes and settle things down when they get running around or the tempo gets up a bit, and be a tough guy to play against. He's a big guy, very strong, and he's got a presence, so he's going to be a presence on our back end.
With the addition of Underwood, however, the Rebels have 4 overage 20-year-olds on the roster and will need to make some difficult decisions moving forward as they are facing a deadline.
We can't have 4 guys. We can carry 4 up until October the 10th, but ultimately here we're going to have to make a decision in short order, so the next couple of weeks will be important for those guys.
That means Sutter isn't quite done wheeling and dealing, and we can expect more in the days to come. For Rebels This Week, I'm Jared Waldo.
The arrival of Brandon Underwood creates an overage overload for this Rebels hockey club. They now have 4 20s on their roster. Of course, you're only allowed 3. That makes an interesting decision for Brent Sutter, Jesse Wallen, and crew. Time now for our second installment of the Train Like a Rebel segment. This time, Jack from 360 Fitness tells us more about cardio.
Hi everyone, Jack here at 360 Fitness Personal Training, and this week we're talking about cardiovascular training. Cardio training is anything running, biking, swimming, or hiking, that kind of thing. When starting a cardio routine, you really want to start off slow and steady. Don't overwhelm yourself right off the bat. Start with twice a week, 30-minute walks, maybe around the block, in the park, and such like that. Work you up to 2, 3, 4 times a week for 30-minute walks, and then started to get into a jog, maybe a run. And this can be applied for anything like running, biking, or swimming.
Coming up after the break, an exclusive one-on-one with the head coach Jesse Wallen. Later on, Jared Waldo goes in the corners, and we check in with news and notes from around the Western Hockey League.
Southside Dodge Chrysler Jeep and RV Center is proud to serve Central Alberta. 100% satisfaction, friendly salespeople, and excellent customer service. Southside Dodge, home of the $10,000 giveaway.
Hi everyone, Jack here at 360 Fitness Personal Training. If you're looking to lose weight, burn fat, and just feel great in your clothes again, 360 Fitness can get you there. Work one-on-one with our trainers to get you in the best shape of your life. Get results or your money back.
Complete Athlete in Sylvan Lake is Central Alberta's #1 hockey training facility, boasting one of the world's largest skating treadmills and stick handling platforms. Learn, train, perform. Complete Athlete in Sylvan Lake.
Joined now by the head coach of the Red Deer Rebels Hockey Club, Jesse Wallen. And Jesse, I guess just overall, how does it feel to finally be done with all that training camp and preseason stuff and right into the regular season finally?
Well, it's exciting. You kind of wait around all summer. It was a long summer, a long off season this year, and you get to the training camp, and that's the first step, and you're excited to be at camp. But then once you get into it, you're just waiting for the regular season to start. So it's been a couple weeks here, and we're excited to get going here for the real deal.
Kind of an exhausting process, even just from my observation, as to what you guys go through with training camp between rookie sessions and scrimmages and goalie sessions. I mean, and the off-ice meetings. It's a ton of work that you guys do.
Yeah, it is. That's what it's all about, and that's you get into it, and it's just go, and that's the business we're in. When you're in the season, it's every day. It's 24/7, and it's a heavy schedule. But that's all part and parcel, and that's what we're here for. And we went through the process of a lot of different things through training camp. You're evaluating young guys on your list. The 15, 16-year-olds evaluating who you want to put on your list, where guys are at, moving into the main training camp, and then obviously you get into the preseason with your team, and you're evaluating the guys that you have, the guys that are coming in, and trying to evaluate your team and make it better in any way you can. So there's a lot to go through, and every day is a process, and you're ultimately getting to this point where you want to start the season well and then continue on to the season getting stronger.
So how has that been for you now that you're just the head coach as opposed to having all those general managers' duties lumped on you as well? Have you noticed a difference already?
Well, it's a lot less on your plate for sure, and I find I'm able to spend more time with the team, and for me especially, it's just nice, with Brent back. I mean, we talked a lot, but having him here on a daily basis, it takes a lot of the weight off my shoulders, and it's another perspective, and someone when you're coaching, you're really involved emotionally with the team. You're involved with the players every day, and it's tough to separate sometimes, and I think just having that separation, a perspective that's not involved in the room every day, and not involved in the emotion of being on the bench, I think it's going to be huge. And for myself to be able to really focus in on coaching and not have to worry about the management side of it and the personnel side as much, because it's never ending. There's always something to you want to follow up on everything that's out there and follow up on all the issues involved, and it's a lot to stay on top of, and it's going to take a lot off of me to be able to just focus in on coaching and to have that obviously experienced perspective in Brent to take care of the management side.
Has anything...
That was a very long-winded answer.
But it was a great answer too. I mean, this is why we bring you guys on, to get the insight, right? I guess my next question, has anything kind of surprised you so far, either on the ice with something you saw through camp or off the ice with just the way things are rolling right now? Has anything kind of caught you off guard or just made you kind of think, hey, well, that's different? Or
No, not really. I think just the biggest challenge that we've faced so far has been just being out of our building. We've really... this time of year, you really want to spend a lot of time with the guys on the ice and work on, the little details in the game. And we've been a little compressed being out of the building, not having as much ice time as we've typically had. So it feels like we've been, really trying to make real good use of our time. Not that we don't always, but we've just been compressed and really trying to squeeze a lot into a little. So that's probably been the biggest thing. But as far as surprises, I wouldn't say there've really been any major surprises. We've had some young guys that have come in and played well, guys like Bleakley and Fleury, but that's hasn't been a surprise. We expected that from them, and they've shown very well, and we're just getting prepared. No real surprises, just continuing with business as usual.
I guess all that time playing in different rinks gets you guys well prepared for this early season road trip you're going on, if nothing else, on your own building and skating other places. If the preseason is any indication, and you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt because you've got some prospects and other different things that you're doing at the time, but the indication that the games gave us is that this is going to be a team that may not have an easy time scoring goals, but they're going to be battling and they're going to be good in their own end. Is that the sense that you get so far?
Well, yeah. I mean, hopefully we can create a little more offense than we did in the preseason. I think guys, we have some guys that didn't play a lot through the preseason. Some older guys, our 20-year-olds and most of our older players didn't play till the third game and only got in a couple games. So we really wanted to spend those first couple games allowing our kids to play and getting a chance to look at them. So not to use that as an excuse by any means, but those guys are fine in their game, and going into the season here, we expect some of the guys that maybe weren't scoring to be offensive contributors. A guy like Charles English, guys like Colton Mayer, all our 20-year-olds, all those guys are veteran players in the league and are expected to produce. So, I don't think we're a naturally gifted goal-scoring team, but yet we're gonna have to generate offense as a group, and by getting to the dirty areas and being prepared to pay the price in those areas. And yet we've always taken pride in being a real good defensive hockey team, and that's not going to change. It's something that we're going to be harping on. In order to have success, you have to be good in your end of the rink. You have to be able to score goals, but you have to be able to prevent them as well. So we've got a young group of defensemen. We've got some real exciting newcomers. Detzel's going into his second year and missed part of last season, the second half, but had a real good summer training and played with the under-18 team, so he'll be relied on a lot. We're going to be a bit young back there. But Hayden Fleury, as a 16-year-old, has come in and shown a lot of promise. He's going to be a very good player for us. And Matty Dumba's our leader back there, and that is an 18-year-old. Bittner's a new guy at 19, but his first year in the league. So we're going to be a little bit raw back there to a certain degree, and yet we think we've got some real good young talent, and it's just going to take some time and some patience and lots of working, and again, a daily process of just continuing to get better.
Take a quick look at this Central Division for us. Obviously, Edmonton comes in with all the hype, defending league champions, and a lot of returning guys, but Calgary seems to have some talent, and then you throw in Medicine Hat, Lethbridge, Kootenay, some challenges as always. Maybe just take us through your view of the Central Division.
Well, I think you're right. I think it's no different than every other year. It's going to be a very competitive division. I think there's going to be some real good teams. Edmonton is the defending champions, and they bring a lot of guys back. They're very talented, very skilled, have a lot of speed, and they've got depth. So there's really no area of weakness on their team. I think they're going to be a challenge. And Calgary's got a good group as well. They got some guys back, some big guys, some skilled guys up front, and a real big defense that's been together for a couple of years. So they're going to be a challenge. Medicine Hat's always got a skilled group. Kootenay's going to be a little younger this year, yet they're always a competitive team. And Lethbridge is a year older as well. They've got some young players that they've been building with. So it's going to be a very competitive division, as it always had or has. And every night's going to be a challenge for sure.
Never a dull moment, eh?
Never a dull moment. Never is.
Jesse, thanks for doing this.
Hey, thank you.
Red Deer Rebels head coach Jesse Wallen. Coming up after the break, we go in the corners with Jared Waldo, and we check in with news and notes from around the Western Hockey League.
Nelson to Hack, the shot,
Hey Red Deer Rebels fans, have we got the show for you? Southside Dodge Rebels This Week is your #1 source for everything Rebels. Highlights, interviews, stats, and exclusive behind-the-scenes features brought to you each and every week by those who have their eye on the Rebels all season long. Southside Dodge Rebels This Week, weeknights on Shaw TV.
Hi, I'm Brandon Sutter from the Pittsburgh Penguins, and you're watching Southside Dodge Rebels This Week.
Now with his weekly In the Corner segment, here's Jared Waldo.
Well, it appears the Red Deer Rebels have some interesting decisions to make moving forward as it pertains to their overaged players. With 4 20-year-olds on the roster, Brent Sutter and Jesse Wallen have some tough decisions to make, and they have to make those decisions as early as next week. Now, Brandon Underwood was recently acquired by the Regina Pats. We know he's not going anywhere, so that leaves one of 3 players who's the odd man out: Turner Elson, Charles Inglis, or Adam Cambites. If you would have asked my opinion heading into this past weekend, I may have suggested Inglis, if only because he hadn't really produced offensively for the Rebels and may have had some issues with discipline. Well, after this past weekend, a 4-goal performance, he did himself a lot of favors. Turner Elson, he's been day-to-day with a lower body injury, and it's argued that offensively he's the most talented player on this team when healthy. So if he can stick it out, he produces a lot for the Rebels, and maybe not somebody they want to trade. That leaves Adam Kambites. Now, I've made my opinion known. I'm not a fan of trading the captain. However, when you take a look at the depth chart on this team, is Kambites somebody who's going to score you 30 to 40 goals? Or is he going to be somebody who can stick it out on the second line, grind in the corners, and be a good leader for this team? Now, it could be argued that the Rebels have a lot of those players and need more in the way of offensive talent. So, looking at all that, is Kambites the odd man out? Check out more from me on my blog at rebelrebellion.com.
Well, last week we told you about Jim and his group over at Red Deer Rebel Nation. Now, they've been hoping to work on some bus trips for Rebels fans to check out road games, and they've picked out their first roadie of this season. It'll be October 13th as the Rebels head south for another battle versus the Calgary Hitmen. You can find out more by visiting rdrebelnation.com. Time now for some news and notes from around the Western Hockey League. Sportsnet has announced the first 2 weeks of its Friday night hockey broadcast schedule, starting Friday, October 12th, as the Edmonton Oil Kings host the Calgary Hitmen on Sportsnet 1. Sportsnet will televise a CHL game every Friday during the regular season and playoffs. They'll announce their remaining schedule on a week-to-week basis. As many players move on from the Western Hockey League up to the professional ranks, so too do many officials from the WHL. Referees Trevor Hansen and Trent Knorr and linesman Kyle Murchison were all recruited this week by the National Hockey League. A number of other WHL teams also working hard to show up their overagers situation. The Calgary Hitmen sending Trevor Cheek to the Vancouver Giants. The Kootenay Ice shipped Elgin Pierce to Medicine Hat. Well, that about does it for this week's show, but not before we show you the Western Hockey League Players of the Week. Don't forget to check out our website, rebelsthisweek.com. We'll see you next week.